Hello, I welcome you all to today's session where we are going to discuss about the next topic, that is polygenic inheritance. As I have written over here, the word poly means many and genic means the genes which are controlling or responsible for controlling the expression of only one phenotypic character. Polygenic inheritance is also known by various names. It's otherwise known as the quantitative inheritance. And they are the classical Mendelian traits which have two contrasting conditions uh, which are controlled by a single pair of genes. So suppose capital A, small a and small a control expression of one phenotype. In this condition, we are supposed to tell it that it is a qualitative or monogenic inheritance. It is just the reverse of this. If I talk about the monogenic inheritance, the characters may relate or they control the shape of the seeds, like whether the pea seeds will be smooth or wrinkled, the size of the pea plant or height of the pea plant, that is it might be tall or dwarf, the color of the guinea pigs, like whether it will be a black guinea pig or white guinea pig. A qualitative trait is fully expressed by a single dominant gene. This capital A gene is able to express the trait fully. The presence of two dominant genes does not modify the phenotype. For example, the genotypes here, that is capital A and capital A small a, they will produce equally the dominant character. Similarly, the genotypes, suppose capital T small t and capital T, they will also express the same phenotype. The qualitative traits, being as they are controlled by a single pair of gene, they are otherwise called as the monogenes. This inheritance produces two distinct phenotypes. At one extreme, you will find the dominant phenotype, and at the other extreme, you will find the recessive phenotype. In relation to that, or in contrast to that, you will find that in case of the quantitative traits that we are discussing right now, here you will find that particularly they are measurable phenotypic traits, and they will not be having two distinct you can say phenotypes. Instead, they will show you a range of phenotypes which will blend from one dominant character to the recessive character in continuous variations, and usually they are controlled by more than one pair of genes. So that is why they are otherwise called as the polygenic inheritance. For example, the example which is related to your NCERT book, that is the expression of the skin color in humans, and it can have a variety of expressions. At one end, you will be finding the dominant black or the pure black genotype, that will be you can say represented by a certain particular combination of all the genotypes, and this phenotype is otherwise called as the negroid phenotype. If you go towards a little bit lighter shade, then you will find very dark brown phenotype. People who are interbreed among the negroid and the caucasoid parents, they will show you this very dark brown phenotype. If a shade lighter skin tone you will consider, then it will be the color of the mocha, that will be the dark brown phenotype. And exactly you will find the people who belong to this Latin American countries, or people who are called as Hispanics, people who are Spanish, who are Italian, they have a peculiar skin coloration, and that is called as mulatto. And mulattoes are the intermediate between the negroid and the albino phenotypes, exactly at the middle. If you go one shade lighter, then the skin will be light brown. in coloration, we can use the abbreviation LB. If you still make the skin one more shade lighter, then it will be very light brown. Girls will be more adjusted to this. When you go for buying your foundations, how you choose your skin type, essentially this involves the same thing. If you make your skin one shade still more lighter, then you will be finding that you are becoming albino, and that is the extreme of the other phenotype, and it is otherwise called as pure white. So you see here you are getting a gradation of characters, and altogether you are getting 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 expression of 7 phenotypes, having the mulattoes at the middle, pure black at the dominant you can say extreme, and albinos at the recessive extreme. Having said this, let us again come back to the concept of quantitative traits. I told you that they are the traits which are measurable, and they do not have two distinct contrasting conditions. You have a focus on this, and what I am telling, it will be very clear to you. I told that they will show a wide spectrum of phenotypes which will gradually blend from one condition to another in a continuous variations. They are usually controlled by more than one pair of genes, and if I take the phenotype as the inheritance of human skin color, then it is controlled by a set of 3 genes, capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B, and capital C, which will be responsible for expressing the negroid phenotype. Similarly, for expressing the albino or the pure white phenotype, it will be small a, small s, small b, small b, small c, small c. Other phenotypes we will be gradually discussing as we are going to work out the cross. They are usually controlled by more than one pair of genes, and generally they are influenced by the environmental factors. For example, if you go to a place which has abundant sunshine, then your skin can become tanned, and actually whatever is your genetic skin color, that might become few shades darker. Similarly, if you go to a place which doesn't have intense sun rays, having you can say dominating that predominant environment, then you will be finding that if you live in that environment for certain months altogether, then your skin tone is supposed to become lighter. So our skin tone is genetically something else, and it is much influenced by the environment where you live. If you sorry, if you live near the equator, then your skin tone is supposed to be more darker, and as you move away from the equator towards the poles, your skin tone, because of the lesser light intensity received by your skin, that will make your skin lighter. Light or dark human skin color can become lighter or darker depending upon to the exposure to the sun. This is what I have told you right now. The quantitative traits are very common, and they include other human characters also. Imagine that you are a class of 51. Take the average weight of your class. There will be few people who will be towards the plus size at one extreme, and there will be a few people who are very skinny and they will be underweight, and they will form the other extreme, and you will find a variety of weight, body weight or body mass index among all of you. Similarly, you think about your intelligence. That also shows a qualitative inheritance. You also think about your average height of the class. That also shows this, you can say, inheritance through this quantitative traits. Your hair color, size of certain organs, your facial features, your susceptibility to various diseases. These all are the human characters which are generally said to be quantitative. You can also find that in case of cattle, what will be the milk yield, or what much amount of milk that they are supposed to produce. In case of pigs, the amount of pork that they are going to yield. In case of poultry, the egg production, amount of flowers that are produced by certain plants, size of the fruits, number and size of the seeds in beans, color of the grain in wheat. This is another important character. This cross also we will work out. Inheritance of kernel color in wheat, that will also show this polygenic inheritance. If you right now, the all of us, we generally use the flour that is almost processed. But if you see the grains of wheat, they will show you at least 5 different variations of color. So that is also a polygenic inheritance. In case of maize, the length of the corn cob is also a polygenic inheritance. So having said this, I can say that the quantitative traits are also called as the metric traits because they are measurable or they are quantifiable. So in this case, the metric traits are generally, they can be measured and they can be expressed in terms of units such as length, weight or number. A single phenotype trait which is controlled by more than one pair of genes, as the examples right now I have told you, they are polygenic inheritance. They are also known by another name which is otherwise known as cumulative genes. Cumulative genes means their effects. If you have this capital A, then its effect will be added upon by this capital A. It will be again added upon by the presence of the capital B. Another capital B will again add up to the phenotype, make it more intense. Another capital C will add up in that way. So that is why they are also called as the cumulative genes. Each gene of a polygenic system generally contributes to the phenotype, but to a small extent. Presence of more than one dominant gene makes the phenotype more prominent. All the dominant genes, as I have told you that in case of the example of negroids, they will add up their effects to produce the full phenotype. Two or more pair of non-allelic genes which produce the additive effect, they are otherwise called as the multiple genes or polygenes. So here you will be finding that in case of human skin color, it is believed to be controlled by at least a set of 3 separately inherited genes which are again located on different chromosomes. So this capital A or capital A, small a, that is present on another chromosome. Capital B, capital B, small b and small b again on another chromosome. Capital C, capital C, small c and small c also belongs to another chromosome, and they are inherited independently. The genes for dark color will be capital A, B, C, and they are incompletely dominant, and the darkness of the skin color is proportionate to the sum total of the dominant genes present. So now, having said this, let us try to work out a cross. So I will be starting the cross, and because it will be consisting of 3 pairs of genes, then we will name it as a tri-hybrid cross. I hope this is visible to all of you. So in case of tri-hybrid cross, the parents will be on one extreme. Suppose a negroid male is crossed with, which is represented by this multiplication sign, with an albino female. So till now I have told you that a negroid male has married a female who is on the other extreme of the phenotype, that she is albino. So next we will write their genotype. So their genotype, obviously because it is one of the extreme coloration, so if you remember this chart, it will be having this genotype. So it will be represented by capital A, capital B, capital B, capital C, all the 3 genes adding up to the intensity of the skin color. Similarly, albino female will be represented by this other extreme of the genotype. So it will be small a, small b, small c. As I have said, that these genes will be inherited independently. So not to commit any mistake, try to underline all the 3 pairs of genes separately, and from every pair try to move one gene towards the production of the male gamete, other gene towards the production of the female gamete. So the gametes for F1 generation will be one capital A from this pair will go here, other 50% of the sperms will receive the other complement of capital A. One capital B will move separate from the other capital B, 50% of the sperms will receive this capital B complement, other 50% will receive this complement. Similarly, for capital C, 50% of the sperms will receive this complement, and other 50% of the sperms, sorry, this arrow should be pointed towards this side. So other 50% should be represented by this. So all the sperms basically will be having capital A, B, C genotypes. So let us work it out. For the female gamete, this A will separate from this complement of A. These two B alleles will separate from each other, and these two C alleles will separate from each other. Always mark the arrows pointing towards the same direction. They will be forming one particular complement of the gametes. So it will be small ABC for 50% of ovum, another small ABC for the rest 50% of the ovum. So whether this sperm fertilizes this ovum, or this sperm fertilizes this ovum, or this sperm fertilizes this ovum, or this sperm fertilizes this ovum, always the F1 generation will be having the expression of capital A from this sperm, this small a from the ovum, capital B from the sperm, small b from the ovum, capital C from the small sperm, small c from the ovum. So this is the intermediate genotype, isn't it? Having one complement of the dominant gene and other complement of the recessive gene. So they will be forming this mulatto skin color. So all the F1 generation, or all the kids born to a parent where the male is a negroid and the female is a pure albino or blonde, in that case they will be the Hispanics or the mulattoes with intermediate skin color. So these mulatto children will be forming the parents for F2 generation. So parents for F2 will be a mulatto parent or a mulatto male will be crossed with another mulatto female. Obviously they will be having only one genotype, what we have written over here. So the genotype for this male parent will be capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, small c. For this also capital A, capital B, small c, capital C, small c. So now let us carry out what will be the gametes for F2. If you use the forked line method, then that will be easier for you. So how we are supposed to do it? So here let us write. I hope this is visible to all of you. So here we will write capital, sorry, for gametes. Let us put the heading first. Gametes for F2. So let us use the forked line method to determine this. So write capital A and small a separated from each other, make it forked for capital B, small b, make it individually forked for capital C, small c. Here also make it forked for capital B, small b, individually make it forked for capital C, small c. Here also capital C, small c. Now it will be easier for you to make the combination of the gametes. So this gamete will be capital A, B, C. This will be capital A, capital B, small c. Let me make it bigger. Then picking up this combination, it will be capital A, small b, capital C. Picking up this and this combination, it will be capital A, small b and small c. Picking up this combination, it will be small a, capital B, capital C. Picking up this combination, it will be small a, capital B, small c. Picking up this combination, it will be small a, small b, capital C. Picking up this combination, it will be all recessive, that is small a, small b, small c. So for the male parent, you will also get the production of 8 different type of gametes. And for the female parent, because she was also, if you remember, she was having the same genotype, so the production of the gametes will be the same. This genotype as well as this genotype, they will be producing the same gametes. So now there will be 8 different type of sperm and 8 different type of ovum. So altogether 8 into 8, we have to make a Punnett square that will be containing 64 blocks. So already I have made it for your convenience. So here just I have to go on writing. Just you refer to this page. This genotype I have written here. This genotype I have written here. This genotype I have written here. The 4th genotype, this I have written here. The 5th genotype, this one, I have put it here. The 6th genotype, this one, I have carried over from here. The 7th one, this one, that I have carried from here. And the last one, as you can see, I have written over here. Now come to this side. I hope this is more clear. The genotypes just I have written in the same sequence. Now let us understand how we are supposed to get the phenotype and the genotypes done. So here at one extreme, let us understand that it will be the Negroid genotype. If it is Negroid, then it will be capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B, capital C, capital C. So for all of them, I will be putting all the dark dots. So 6 dark dots means it will be the Negroid phenotype. The next one shade lighter will be very dark brown. So very dark brown, that will be capital A. Only one out of the 5 genotypes, any one will be with small notation, say like this, and the rest will be all dominant genotypes. So one will be dark circle, one lighter, and rest 4 dark. So if you are getting 5 dark circles and 1 lighter circle, then the skin color will be very dark brown. Next one shade lighter will be dark brown. So for dark brown, say the genotype will be small a, capital B, capital B, capital C, capital C. That means any 2 will be with recessive genotype, rest 4 will be the dominant genotype. So 4 dark circles and 2 light circles will make it dark brown. Obviously the next one will be mulatto. So mulattoes will have only one combination. So for them it will be capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, small c. So there will be one dark, one lighter, one dark, one lighter, one dark, one lighter. Next one shade lighter skin color will be light brown. So light brown skin color, yeah, fair skin color, very fair skin color. So that will be having the, you can say, 4 lighter circles and 2 dark circles. So 2 dark circles and 4 lighter circles. Say capital A, small b, small b, small c will produce light brown or very fair skin color. Fair skin color or very light brown will be having only one dominant gene, rest 5 alleles will be recessive ones. So say the genotype can be capital A, small b, small b, small c, all recessive, only one dominant. And at the other extreme, that is that pure white or albino skin coloration, that will be having all the lighter circles and it will be having only one genotype possible. All the 6 will be lighter circles. It will be small a, small a, small b, small b, small c, small c. There will be no dominant chain. So keeping this in mind, let us try to work out the cross. So if this is visible to you, then suppose if this fertilizes this, so it will be capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B, capital C, capital C. So there will be all the 6 dark circles. It will be the negroid phenotype. If this fertilizes this, then it will be capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B, capital C, small c. So 5 will be dark spots and 1 will be lighter. So what combination it should be? It should be very dark brown. So the combination will be very dark brown. Now let us cross this with this. So it will be capital A, capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, capital C. Again, dark, 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 lighter, dark, dark. Same combination, but only the genotype has marked a change. So it will be very dark brown. If this fertilizes this, then it will be capital A, capital A. This one fertilizing this one. This one fertilizing this one. So it will be capital A, capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, small c. So for this it is a dark spot, for this it is a dark spot, for this it is a dark spot, light spot, then dark spot, then light spot. So 2 lighter spots and 4 dark spots. It is this combination, dark brown. So it will be dark brown skin coloration. So if this fertilizes this, I hope this is visible to all of you. So it will be capital A, small a, capital B, capital B, capital C, capital C. So here it will be dark, lighter, dark, 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 dark. So 5 dark and 1 lighter. It will be very dark brown. So on. So I hope now you will be able to make all the crosses possible. Just work out all the 64 squares and have patience. And I know you can do it. Let me at least complete the first line so that it is easier for you to understand. This 5th position on this horizontal row and first position on the vertical position, if they are crossed, then it is capital A, small a, capital B, capital B, capital C, small c. So the spots will be dark, light, dark, 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 light. So it will be this 2 lighter ones and 4 dark ones. It will be dark brown. If the seventh position on the horizontal column and first position on the vertical column they are crossed, then it is capital A, small a, capital B, small b, capital C, capital C. So if we try to, it is becoming difficult gradually. So it will be, I hope now this is visible. So here it is a dark, this is light, this is dark, this is light, this is dark, this is dark. Again 4 dark spots, 2 light spots. Maybe in other combinations will produce dark brown skin color. Now the last position on the horizontal column and first position on the vertical column, they are crossed. So it is capital A, small a, capital B, small b, capital C, small c. Now let us put the dots. Dark, lighter, dark, lighter, dark, lighter. 3 light and 3 dark spots. I had told you that they will produce this mulatto skin color. So they will be mulattoes. So please take it as a homework. Try to finish all the 64 blocks, as you finish all the 64 blocks, then what is the expected phenotypic ratio that you are supposed to get? So for the phenotypic ratio, you will be getting altogether 7 phenotypes, 3 on the extreme dark side, 3 on the extreme light side, and 1 in between. So let us start with pure black, that is negroid. H2 very dark brown, H2 dark brown, H2 mulatto, H2 light brown, H2 light brown should be very fair, you can write it as very fair also. Then very light brown, this one should be only fair, this will be very fair. And the other last extreme, that is albino or pure white. So out of the 64 blocks, there will be only one on this extreme. So pure black will be 1 by 64 and pure white will be 1 by 64. Very dark brown and light brown or very fair, they will be showing you the next genotype, that will be 6 by, this one will be 6 by 64, and this one will also be 6 by 64. This dark brown and very fair, they will show you the same thing. So that will be around 15 by 64 ratio. So this will be, sorry, this will be 15 by 64. I have written it correctly, sorry. This will be 15 by 64. And the last, that is the mulatto, they will show you the highest one, that is 20 by 64. It is ratio will be 1:6:15 20:6 15:1. If you take the denominator out to be common, that is 64. The cross may little bit confuse you, but try to have patience and try to work out the cross the way that I have told you. For every, please remember, for every dominant allele, you have to put a dark spot, and for every recessive allele, you have to put a light spot. So if you try to plot it in a graphical form, then the graph will form a bell-shaped structure like this. At this extreme, it will be this 1 by 64 ratio. At both the middle ones, it will be 6 by 64, followed by this 15 by 64 ratio, and the middle one will be the mulattoes. So please remember, for a polygenic inheritance, if you try to plot the graph, then it always becomes a bell-shaped form, because each dominant gene directs the synthesis of the same amount of the skin pigment melanin, which is responsible for giving color to our skin. The shade of the skin color is directly proportional to the number of dominant genes that are present in the individual. It is as simple as that. The more number of dominant genes you have, the more darker is your skin color. The more number of recessive genes you have, the more lighter skin color you have. The above cross shows that it is possible for parents heterozygous for skin color to produce children. They have darker skin colors and also with lighter skin colors than themselves. So for that, you might have noticed in your locality or in your family that the parents are very dark in skin color, but they have fairer kids. Or reverse is also possible. The parents almost have a, you can say, mocha or a dark brown skin color, and they were producing, you can say, fairer kids. But if you marry two albino parents, because they don't have any dominant gene for synthesis of melanin, so children of two, you can say, albino parents, they will never have the dark, as you can say, darker skin color. So this brings us to the end of the series of discussions that we were carrying on the topic of polygenic inheritance. I hope I have been able to make this topic more comprehensible and lucid for you. Thank you.